In the next 60 minutes, one constituency, one Akufo-Addo flat. That's government's new housing program to address the huge housing deficit.
A vast majority of members of parliament have secured lands for purposes of providing affordable housing units in various constituencies in the country. This will be the launch pad of the Akufo-Addo flats.
Meanwhile, Nima and Mamobi will be rebuilt into a modern city. We'll tell you when and how. Also tonight, Auditor General defends decision to surcharge Zoom Lion 184 million cedis it received for fumigation works. The AG has submitted in court Joy News documentary robbing the assemblies as evidence of alleged fraudulent activities of the company. Also tonight, National Identification Authority declares 2 individuals wanted for illegal registration of foreigners 6 days after they were busted at a private home at the Woodman.
2 people who are engaged in registration of foreigners and who have also absconded, and we've spoken with the police, and we're going to have the police declare them as wanted persons, and we will post their particulars.
But the NDC says the move is not enough as the 2 remain at large. We'll hear from them.
And in business, Bank of Ghana forecast further reduction in cost of credit as banking sector confidence takes shape.
Later in sports, Ghana's female 4x100 meter relay team aims for Olympic qualification after securing qualification to this year's World Athletics Championships in Doha.
You want to join us with your views and comments? Send us a WhatsApp 0244 340437. My name is Evans Mensah. Well, government has tonight introduced a new policy to deal with the housing deficit facing the country. The one constituency, one Akufo-Addo flat, is expected to provide housing units in all 275 constituencies in the country. It is estimated that the housing deficit currently facing this country is more than 1 million houses. Now, speaking at the Meet the Press series in Accra, Works and Housing Minister Samuel Atachia said some MPs have already given out land for the project to commence.
We are also anticipating that this year we'll start the Akufo-Addo flats in the constituencies. Plans are afoot to do that. I do not see how we can do the business of giving our people places to dwell without creating land banks. It is a goal of the ministry to keep the price of housing units low through a host of major cost control factors which increase efficiency and keeps costs to the barest minimum. The ministry's first consideration is the availability of land for public housing, which requires forward planning and earmarking of suitable land. A vast majority of members of parliament have secured lands for purposes of providing affordable housing units in various constituencies in the country. This will be the launch pad of the Akufo-Addo flats across the length and breadth of the country. It is gratifying to note that traditional overlords have shown commitment to the wiping out of the deficit and have donated lands for housing undertakings. We are grateful to Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the Asantehene, for donating 100-acre land lying, being, and situated at Desua in Kumasi to meet the acute needs of our people. I think other traditional overlords will emulate this example.
Meanwhile, if you live in Nima and Mamobi, get ready for some major facelift in your area. The Works and Housing Minister said the slum upgrading program will be presented to Cabinet for approval very soon, and we'll see the 2 areas rebuilt into modern residential units. Now, listen to him.
You see, the Nima people have their own homes. We are aware. So we are not going to dislodge them. What we are going to do, that we are going to build executive flats and housing arrangement for them. And then they will move in free of charge. So we create a better environment for them, and they move in free of charge. Then the land space, you see, where they are, will be released to the developer. And the developer can decide that I'll make sure that the land space I have will be more glamorous than Villaggio, which will compensate for the properties that they've released for them. Then they will sell their Villaggio structures, those who can go and buy them or whatever they want, they used to it, they will put. And then it will cancel out the cost. This is what it is. And then the government will have the benefit of the modern structures that will be erected there. We will take part of the structures. And the developer will also take part of the structures. So that it has no cost to the state. This is what the redevelopment and the slum upgrading is all about. So for instance, we might pay regard to the imam or the king of the area to be in a very decent house and a mosque to boot, and they are in the same vicinity. When you go to some city, you see it, and this is what we are trying to do. But they will live in the modern structures free of charge. They will own it. I thought you would say that this is a game changer. And you know why it should be so? Because the whole area is so big. Nima and Mamobi, they are all at the central place of this city. This is what we are going to do. The whole engineering and what they want to do will be presented to the next cabinet for consideration. Immediately they give us the green light, we proceed with it. Yes, we just bring in the developers, and then if they are ready to do it, they start. What you normally do is that you build for the citizens first, so then you can move them. So this year is a major year to start this project.
Do you live in Nima Mamobi? I want to hear from you. 0244340437. Well, we visited these two communities and we got some reactions. Komadom had this.
It's a very good idea, all right, but how is the government going to do all these things? Chamber hall self-contained too, and then 2 bedrooms and a hall. Well, they have to talk to the owners and then find a solution to it, because they have to balance it. Most of the time they will say this, and then at the end of the day you are supposed to pay something again. Meanwhile, you own your own property without any problem, and then they say they are coming to help you. At the end of the day, if you don't have money to pay, then that is it for you.
To move people from here to another place to be difficult for Nima here, because we have been living here for this whole years. I don't think it will be possible.
To me, I think it's a good decision, but left alone with the householders, would they agree to give them their houses back, maybe in a different locality? If only for that, then it's a good decision.
What do you think about people who claim or say about Nima to be a very haphazardly arranged neighborhood because settlements are not properly planned and sanitation and drainage problems here and there? People say these are the problems that have to be fixed. Do you agree?
No, I disagree. Nima is a good community, so it depends on some of those who live in rather destroy it, but actually some are decent and neat people, so it depends on them.
Where do you live? You live in one of the buildings here?
Yeah, okay. I'm just around.
So you are looking to moving out if the new place is built?
If only it's built and people have agreed on it, why not?
This plan is a good plan if they are ready to do it. If they are not coming to just talk, maybe. So you know the government, this government go, this government come. So if they are ready to do that thing, it's fine. Because everybody needs fine thing.
It took us for so many years since we were not even born. As this dream was there, before they would construct it, we demonstrated. After that, they would lock us, beat us, and all stuff. So, Charlie, it's a good thing, but it's not making sense to us because it will never be possible. A comedy actor, Nima Mamodi, struggling very hard, day in, day out. So, trying to say that will be the new place for us to move us from this place to that place and you rebuild Nima and all stuff. No. Because we have people who bought an house and rooms and all stuff. Okay. Even recently, somebody came and bought an house here, 5 billion. And you are saying that you are going to build a room for that person or apartment for that person to move that person from here to that place. Would that make sense?
Reaction there from Nima and Mamobi. But there's further good news for all those of you looking for a place to rent and you're having to deal with agents who are frustrating you or trying to extort monies from you. Well, the minister today also announced that they're putting together a new law to regulate the activities of agents.
That we are weak in enforcement. So some people are arguing that it's even needless. That is true. But there's an underlying trouble that the supply side is challenged. We do not have sufficient flats in the realm for people to go and even rent up a government bungalow or a flat. Because if supply should outstrip demand, then you can't talk about rent advance. We have so many houses. How can you say somebody should pay you 3 years rent advance when he's a civil servant? Where is he going to get the money from? That is why we are saying that we should speed up the rollout of the housing units. But in the meantime, whilst we're looking at it, shouldn't we have a law which probably will reduce the rent advance to 3 months or whatever Parliament will approve, and as he rightly said, enforce it? But I'm talking about the fundamentals. If the houses are not there, you might not go and complain to the police that this landlady or landlord is taking so much from me. You might want to sleep and hold your peace and pay some exorbitant price. But if you drive the supply, I tell you, rent advance will become odious. And you will see where we are going with it. My friend was talking about agents. You know, these are agents in estate development. That is, and they don't pay tax, and they can rip you off and the rest of it. That's why we're trying to deal with real estate law. And in it, all real estate agents will have to be registered. And they have to divulge their commissions for tax purposes to increase the revenue base of the country. So these are, serious policies we are pursuing. We are pursuing them this year.
I want to bring in now Christian Kpakpo Abose. Is a member of the Ghana Association of Real Estate Brokers. Christian, thank you for your time here on Newsnight. Hello, Christian.
Yeah, I'm here, sir.
Thank you for your time here on Newsnight. We just had a minister announce that there's a new law that you're going to put in place shortly that will regulate the activities of agents, including you have to publish your commissions and you will have to be registered. Your reaction?
I think it's a good news. We as an association have been pushing this for a while, and I can state that our association has already started with some of these things that the minister is saying, that before you even join Ghana Association of Real Estate Brokers, you are supposed to have a registered company. You are supposed to go through police checks to make sure you don't have any criminal record. And also we do our background checks, so you have an office or an agency where you operate. So these are all things that I think if it's not just an association driving it, but if it's a government, law or something that is by law required, not anybody can just, wake up one day and say, I want to just be a broker or an agent, and then, goes around to do what he wants. But it will be regulated. And I've seen a bits and pieces of the real estate bill. It's creative, it's good. I'm just hoping that if it comes into, fruition, people would, stick to it and make Ghana, a real estate hub, because we are actually one of the countries that is positioned that we can be more open to all the other markets in real estate, not just, lands or houses, but all the other aspects of real estate, commercial, residential, or any other option that comes up.
So, bottom line, the association is not opposed to stricter regulation, publishing of commissions, and registry, so you can be. But the question that I guess most people renting will ask is why are agents such a nuisance? I mean, they exploit you. You people go to great lengths just to avoid using an agent. What is the problem locally?
So I just said, one piece of it. And one person wakes up one day and says, my auntie or my friend or my brother is renting a house, so I will be the agent for that. With no prior knowledge, no experience, nothing. They just wake up and, put an advert online or go to get some kiosk somewhere and is operating. He has no checks and balances on him. And so that's one of the challenges that, we are trying to, take off the market. Because if you want to deal with any of our agents, you rest assured that, one, they don't have any criminal record. Two, it's a registered company. And three, we make sure that we are able to, call them to order if anything goes wrong or goes wayward. So that's one reason why somebody may not want to use an agent, because of some of these lapses. And because there's no regulation or there's no control, if anything happens, I've seen cases of police chasing agents around. Someone has gone to, take somebody's money for a house that was not supposed to be rented, a house that was renting, one other person has gone to rent to some other person, and a whole lot. But we are moving to a place where if you even have a place to rent, you get one agent or one broker that supersedes or, oversees that property for you. And you know that once you give into that particular accredited agent, all the other brokers or agents are aware of it, and they'll make sure, it's closed. And when it's done, all the internal stuff will be done by the association. So you don't have to go around, having to look around who would take money from you or not. And so we are building something called an MLS, which is a multi-listing service. And we are doing that one of our partners called Mikasa, which is one of the biggest platforms, for real estate in Ghana. So that if you put anything there, if I'm looking for something, if I go to mikasa.com, I can see an array of agents that are available for me to use. But I will want to choose an agent that is trusted, that has a record. So we are partnering with them to do this, so we can cut all these, negative sides of an agent or, all the real estate fraud in the system.
Okay, I'm grateful that you joined us. Christian Bakbo Abose, member of the Ghana Association of Real Estate Brokers. I want to hear from you on this. I'm sure most of you rent. I'm sure you have your own experiences with agents. Share with me, 0244340437. If you live in Nima, Imam Obi, I want to hear from you as well about the announcement today that your area is going to shortly be transformed into a modern residential piece of property. And also, as we had at the top of the hour, the one constituency, one Akufo-Addo flat. And there's some reactions on this coming in that I want to share with you. It says, this one says, as a matter of fact, it is great news to know how the government of the President Akufo-Addo is undertaking an ambitious policy of one constituency, one Akufo-Addo flat in order to bridge the gap. The housing deficit. Government of the President has good ideas and plans in making Ghana worth living. And that is from Michael Amini, but there are others who disagree. Some will say this government is really misplacing its priority. Every day they promise heaven on earth, but at the end we see the opposite side. Raining season has started. They should focus on how they solve flooding issues in the cities and save innocent lives and stop excessive promises. That's from Samuel. And the story on the CID boss and the situation with the families of the kidnapped girls in Takrade. This one, Jacob says, yes, Evans, the truth has finally come out. The CID boss is totally confused. Her statement today is an insult to Ghanaians. She must resign immediately. Kofi says, what is the CID boss still doing a post? If conscience cannot dictate to the CID boss to resign, then she should be booted out of office for peddling falsehood regarding the whereabouts of the Takrade kidnapped girls. I want you to share more of your messages with me. I will share it with the rest of the world. Now, the Auditor General has defended his decision to surcharge Zoomlion Ghana Limited 184 million cedis paid to it for fumigation contracts across the country after the company challenged the move in court. Now, the Auditor General, in his report to Parliament last year, said monies paid to the company for work done with the Assembly should not have been paid. He is asking Zoomlion to pay back the money to the state, but Zoomlion has taken the case to court challenging the directive. Now, Manasseh Zuriwani has been following this story and is with me in the studio. First, what did we uncover in the documentary Robbing the Assembly? Because I understand it's that documentary has been submitted in the court by the Attorney General as part of the case.
Yes, Evans, and this particular aspect of the documentary has to do with the part 2, which talked about different forms of fumigation or open spraying that Zoomlion undertakes in every district in this country. Since 2010, we know every district, municipal and metropolitan assembly pays Zoomlion money every quarter, and those monies were deducted from the district assembly's common fund at source to do fumigation or open spraying. Zoomlion again had another contract with the Ministry of Health, and in this case, the National Health Insurance Authority does the payment. And this contract is also fumigation, but that one is targeted at mosquitoes. Then you go to the local government ministry, which also awarded Zoomlion and its sister companies fumigation contracts to also be carried out. All of these are to be carried out at the assembly level. And we also know that there's even a fourth one between Zoomlion It was subcontracted to Zoom Lion by Labio Farm, and this also came from the the Ministry of Health. So we are talking about 4 different fumigation or open spraying contracts. What we uncovered as part of our investigation, we went to 53 MMDAs across the country. And if you look at the contract which the Auditor General has taken to court, or it has disallowed, for which it is in court now, it is the NAMCOP. And the assemblies could not differentiate between this NAMCOP and then their own fumigation contract to Zoom Lion. So if you ask them whether they knew of any other contract apart from what they are supposed to do, they said no. What we know is that every quarter we pay Zoom Lion to undertake fumigation. So if you find any fumigation exercise being done in our districts, which they even said was not done properly, we know it is about our contract and not that of the Ministry of Health. And these are the people who are supposed to supervise the Ministry of Health contract, and they told us they didn't know about the existence of this contract. They hadn't seen it, and they could not say anything about it. So, as part of the evidence which the Auditor General presented, when the surcharge and disallowance was done, Zoom Lion went to court to challenge it. So the Auditor General has also responded, and there was supposed to have been a ruling today, but we are told Zoom Lion was not served, so the case has been adjourned. But what we can report is that on the 30th, it is very likely they will go back to court and argue this matter.
We know that the police CID is also investigating Zoom Lion and 10 of its sister companies for fumigation contracts. How different are those contracts from this one being pursued by the Auditor General?
So the basic one, which every assembly knows in this country, is the MMDS fumigation contract. Then we have the Ministry of Health fumigation contract. Beyond that, the Ministry of Local Government also awarded fumigation contracts to Zoom Lion and its sister companies to be undertaken in the assemblies. So this is the one the Attorney General asked the CID to do the investigation. The information we are getting is that the CID appear to have finished their work. There are a few things to be done, and hopefully we expect the Attorney General to go to court with this, because we know for a fact that very damning information or evidence has been gathered by the CID as part of this second fumigation contract.
Tell us more about what we found. What we found with the contracts. What does the Auditor General's report say about the said contracts?
If you look at the existing ones, the Assembly's fumigation contract, for instance, if you take almost every Auditor General's report, and when I was doing this investigation, I tried to review the reports. If you take Auditor General's report on the allocation of the District Assembly's Common Fund, if you type fumigation in there in the search, and then you click, you find a lot of them. Almost every year you find a number of issues. One, the assemblies say they are deducted, the monies are paid to Zoom Lion, but the work is not done. So that is one aspect. If you take this, the Ministry of Health one, which so much money was paid from the National Health Insurance, the Auditor General did a report, and that report pointed to a number of anomalies. One, the contract expired, and there are even questions about whether it was properly renewed. Two, those who are supposed to get the services, is there a approval that go and pay because this service has been rendered? And they are the people, I'm telling you, we found from our own investigation that they don't even know about this contract. So they are supposed to send letters or even sign documents to say that, well, the work has been done, go ahead and pay Zoom Lion. Yet they are saying that no, we don't even know about this contract in the first place. So whatever we see, we think it is our own contract. So in a sense, there's a lot of duplication over the same service across the country.
But Zoom Lion has a reaction. They're challenging this.
Yes, it presented, or the company presented payment authorizations from various ministers at the Ministry of Health. spanning 2009 up to around 2017. So it's saying that, look, we did not just go and then take the money, there was approval. They also presented reports of work they have done, which the Auditor General has punched a lot of holes into it. So they are also saying that, look, we have a contract, we have rendered services, and the monies we are receiving or we have received are legitimate monies from the work we have done. So we are waiting for the court to decide whether indeed the 184 million cedis that was paid from the National Health Insurance Authority was actually due Zoomlion or not. The most interesting aspect is in 2017, when I was doing this investigation, I actually went to the National Health Insurance Authority, had an appointment with the boss, Dr. Anno, and said this contract had come to our notice and we're investigating. So tell us about it. And he said no, there was no any such contract. Interestingly, his name is among the list of government officials that have also been cited in this deal. So it is not only Zoomlion, but some government officials are also part of it, and they are also trying to clear their names with the Auditor General.
Manasseh, thank you very much. Now, guess who has been speaking today? Dr. Kojo Afarajan, former chair of the Electoral Commission, and he's warning the Electoral Commission against rushing through new election technologies. Remember, he himself supervised, I guess, one of the most fundamental changes in our electoral conduct as far as technology is concerned with the biometric devices. He believes the failure to ascertain the operational capacity and its accuracy could create a series of challenges that will plunge the country into some trouble. His comments come at a time when former President John Mahama, yesterday commented about the Electoral Commission's own claims in the 2016 elections that their election transmission system had been hacked. Dr. Farajan wants the issues with technology dealt with properly and properly consulted on.
I think that an election management body should not rush into technology. Before my retirement, some fellow election administrators would say to me, Ghana started introducing technology before we did, but we have now only to learn not long after that they experience very serious trouble. It is not helpful to view the introduction of technology in terms of the risk for harm. Usually the EMB will evaluate the cost implications for sustaining the technology. It will try to ascertain the level of trust of the political parties and the election in the new technology. Some that did not do any consultation with the political parties find it very difficult. It's always important to try to dialogue with the political parties and explain to them exactly what is happening, the benefits that the technology.
Well, that's Dr. Farajan, former head of the Electoral Commission. Still ahead, National Identification Authority declares 2 individuals wanted for illegal registration of foreigners 6 days after they were busted at the private home at Wuduma.
2 people who are engaged in registration of foreigners and who have also absconded, and we've spoken with the police, and we're going to have the police declare them as wanted persons, and we will post their particulars.
But the NDC says the move is not enough as the 2 remain at large. We will hear from them, and George joins me with the latest from the world of business. Hello, George.
Hi, Evans. Coming up in business, Bank of Ghana forecast further reduction in cost of credit as banking sector confidence takes shape, and Statistical Service begins trail census from the end of this month. To tell you more on this and the business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essential. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
Game over.
Oh no, I lost again. Mommy, can you please buy me some coins for my game from Play Store? Please.
Kojo, how? I don't even have a debit card.
Hey Mommy, don't you know you don't need a debit card to buy on Play Store. You can pay with MTN Momo.
Can I?
Yes.
Hey, Kojo, how do you know?
Mommy, everybody's talking about it at school.
Really?
You can now use MTN Momo to buy your favorite apps and games on Play Store. First, choose the app or game you want and select the MTN Momo option to pay. It's that simple.
Yes, I did it. Mommy, I won.
We're there for you, everywhere you go.
But the best, we stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
Let us help you bank with the right bank. At First National Bank, we're more than just a bank. We're a digital partner that actually understands your business. Enjoy massive value with our various banking solutions. Get a business check account, a day-to-day transactional account for all businesses from all sectors of the economy. Access our online banking enterprise and bank your way 24/7. Invest with our short or long-term options that enable immediate access to funds. Optimize your cash flow, raise capital, and acquire assets with ease with our lending solutions. Trade with speed, consistency, and innovation with our global payments and forex solutions. With so much value up for grabs, there is no reason not to bank with First National Bank. First National Bank. How can we help you?
Honey, I need to get some.
But I don't have cash on me. Let me get some fuel quickly and let's go.
And how are you going to get the fuel? I thought you said you didn't have cash on you. What is this one?
My Puma card.
All it takes is a card. The Puma card allows you to buy fuel cash-free from all Puma energy filling stations. You can use your Puma card with any Visa points of sale and ATM across the country. The Puma card also works on mobile money. You get amazing discounts when you fill up with your Puma card. So register for free and get your Puma card instantly at any Puma filling station.
And you only got one for yourself, eh?
Yeah, would I have had my piece of mind?
Oh, thank you, honey.
And where are you going?
I'm getting something from the shop real quick. I need to test the card.
Puma card. Cash-free convenience.
Imagine living in a world of comfort and luxury. In a well-planned and gated community with access to an ultra-modern sports complex which has Olympic-sized swimming pools, football, basketball, athletics, and gym facilities. I'm talking about Eden Heights, the new destination for luxury in Ghana. Eden Heights is developed with the highest grade of finishing in our penthouses and our 1 to 4 bedroom apartments, and is located close to the beach resorts along the Atlantic Ocean, about 30 minutes drive from the airport and 5 minutes walk from the West Hills Mall. Eden Heights is the ideal location for luxury. Visit us at edenheights.com.gh or email to sales@edenheights.com.gh or call us on 050-153-1444 or 050-153-1445 for more information. Eden Heights, welcome home.
But
Madam Atreba, the recent test shows your cholesterol level has normalized. You've stopped eating those fatty foods, eh?
Doc, in Chichurina. Oh, I've reduced it significantly.
That's very good.
Mara made change in my diet input. I now eat beans, garden eggs, okra, and the likes.
Really nice.
And when I cook with oil, I add required amounts of Frital vegetable oil to taste. It's a cholesterol-free oil and fortified with vitamin A.
Well done, Madam Atreba.
She, Mara Mabinu, Mabin Dread. Enjoy great tasting meals with Frital, your cholesterol-free cooking oil fortified with vitamin A. Frital, love your food, love your life. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the Bank of Ghana is projecting some further reduction in the cost of credit in the country. Now, this is based on pickup in capital levels of commercial banks and improved sector confidence. Interest rates are currently hovering around 20%. Now, head of banking supervision at the Bank of Ghana, Osejesi, said the development will also help grow the economy. He was speaking at a roundtable discussion on banking sector issues and the economy, organized by the Integrity magazine.
Loans to the private sector, it's picking up considerably. And what it means is that we should expect that with time, the private sector will grow because they'll be able to access more credits. And indeed, credit, which also used to be trend downwards, has also started picking up. In time past, what we saw was that most banks were investing in bank government papers. The recent statistics we looked at indicate that loans have started or increased, and deposits of banks have also started picking up. So as these savings that are going up, as the additional capital introduced by the banks are channeled into the private sector, we should expect that there will be a growth or there will be an improvement in the macroeconomic indicators.
Head of banking supervision at the Bank of Ghana, Osejesi. MTN Ghana is blaming challenges with its share price after listing on the Ghana Stock Exchange to the general performance of the economy and loss of investor confidence on the market. According to its board chair, Dr. Ishmael Yamson, it is too early for shareholders to start responding negatively to this development. He spoke with the media after the company held its first annual general meeting in Accra today.
First of all, people have lost confidence in all financial instruments, and although investing in equity is not directly a financial instrument, it's part of our investment portfolio as a country. So why do I have to go and put my money in the bank or go and go to the stock exchange if I'm not sure that tomorrow, not only that my money will not be there, but it probably will appear or end up in debt. So it's a major issue that we need to confront. The second issue really is what happened to the city in the middle of last year. It actually hit the confidence of investors because in that short period between February and May, the city depreciated very, very fast.
Board chairman of MTN, Dr. Ishmael Yamson, well, it appears investors are responding to this assurance from the company because at the end of trading on the Ghana Stock Exchange today, the share price went up by 6 pesos to close at 75 pesos. GCB was also up by some 51 pesos to close at 5 Ghana cedis, 1 peso. Accra Bank, however, lost a peso and is now closing at around 85 pesos. Now, the Ghana Statistical Service has started undertaking various exercises that would help conduct the population and housing census in March next year. The service, as a result of this, has begun what it calls the trial census that would happen on May 26th to June 2nd. That is this year. Now, the areas that have been chosen for this are the Doma West district that is in the Bono region, Bungugu in the district that is the Northeast region, and Ashedu Keteke, Lojekuku, Usukulote, Ayewasu West, and Okankwe sub-metros, all in the Greater Accra region. Now listen to this. Now, based on the 2010 population and housing census, the country's population size is pegged at around 29.6 million. And the Ghana Social Services projected population size of 31 million by 2020, pegged at a growth rate of 2.2%. Now, there are just about 1,200 drugs that have been registered, that is out by the Food and Drugs Board, out of the over 10,000 that are in circulation. Now, that's according to the Chamber of Pharmacy, which is made up of the various players in the industry. But the chief executive of the chamber, Anthony Ameka, is blaming the challenge on the high fees charged by the Food and Drugs Board.
Currently, you pay $20,000 for 5 years for factory inspection. Then you pay, in addition, $3,600 for the registration of the product for every 3 years, whilst our neighboring country in Nigeria pays $750 for 5 years. Fortunately, we've had a very good cooperation with the Food and Drugs Authority, and they've agreed to review the fees charged by FDA.
Anthony Ameka is the chief executive of the Chamber of Pharmacy. And the railway minister, that is Joe Gate, is asking management of the Ghana Railways Company to explore more ways that they can properly cost their services to help improve internally generated funds. Mr. Gate maintains that the purpose of the Railway Act was introduced to actually enhance competition. Hence, the Ghana Railway must learn to be commercially oriented in its activities. The minister said this during an inspection of the ongoing rehabilitation works of coaches at the Ghana Railway Authority in Tema.
The railway line that we are coming to do, the whole purpose of the Railway Act was to introduce competition into the delivery of those services. I, as Ghana Railway Company Limited, want to be the first among equals. And it's up to them. Government will do its part. We are providing the money for all this rehabilitation. We are providing the money for the rehabilitation of the lines. They are contractors. They must learn how to cost properly. When you give a contract to a road contractor, any of these foreign road contractors or anything, they cost in their labor, don't they? Yes, they cost in their labor. So they must learn how to cost their contracts properly and charge government properly so that they get money to pay their people properly.
And that's Railway Minister Joe Gate, and that's all for business on News 19. Even some interesting development coming. The World Bank has actually bought this company, Sunyan. That is a 15-month Shanghai-based company. This company was actually involved in some electrical projects here in Ghana, so they are saying that they can't participate in any program project that is sanctioned by the World Bank, the Shanghai-based Sunyan Electric Company, actually, events.
George, thank you very much. Interesting details there. We'll see how that plays out. Now, to the happenings at the National Identification Authority now, and the authority has declared 2 of its staff wanted, and they've advised the police to go after them for illegal registration of foreigners. The 2 are said to be on the run after they were arrested last week at Woodham for registering people outside the prescribed hours. The nationwide exercise, which started last month, has been fraught with some challenges. Executive Director of the authority, Professor Kenneth Fatels, joined. Photographs of the suspects have been given to the police to aid the arrest.
I can tell you that today, dismissal letters will go to about 11 people, and suspension letters will go to 5 people. The persons to be dismissed are largely persons who conducted registration exercises outside the NIA approved registration periods and venues. It also includes 2 people who are engaged in registration of foreigners and who have also absconded, and we've spoken with the police, and we're going to have the police declare them as wanted persons, and we will post their particulars in order that they can be invited just in case they cannot hear us or notice that we need them. So we're going to take action against those. Just yesterday, 3 additional cases were reported, and we conducted investigations, and they've been included in a number of people, some of them, that disciplinary action is being taken. Well, all of them, but some of them for dismissal, some of them for suspension, depending on the gravity and the degree or level of responsibility that they bore. Let me use your platform to make one appeal to Ghanaians. We have timed the registration process. We've determined how long it will take to register the 80% target, 80 to 85% target of the general populace aged 15 and above within that 1 year. We know how many applicants can be registered per day by a registration officer operating the machine. Based on the simulations, the piloting that we've done and all of that, we know that we can register Ghanaians during the period. However, despite all the technical challenges, we can do this assignment. What is warranted is discipline on our part and on the part of the populace. Number two, and this is the appeal, that opinion leaders, that chiefs, powerful people in society should desist from being overbearing on our registration officials, impelling them, compelling them, inducing them, or otherwise cajoling them to try and register them outside approved times and venues.
Opinion leaders, chiefs,
so-called important people in society. Some people in some of our registration centers, they are literally bullied by the big people. Some go and say, as for me and my household, we join not the queue. We've never joined queues. You should come and help us. There are landlords who are providing tremendous assistance to our people. They provide accommodation. Some even go out of their way to provide meals and all of that.
And we'll hear from the NDC shortly. They've been reacting to the developments today on the back of what happened last week when the suspects bolted, but the landlady was arrested, and they sat in the meeting with the police as they interrogated the landlord in question, and they held a press conference subsequently to raise questions about this. A week on, are they happy with the progress of work to sanction the individuals who were involved? We'll hear from them shortly. But in the meantime, I want to bring you the story of what is happening with the teachers across the country, and we are hearing from the Ghana National Association of Teachers tonight, who are expressing grave concern over the state of security for teachers across the country. According to the General Secretary of NAT, David Ofori Echampon, the teaching profession continues to be under threat, and attempts must be made to protect teachers wherever they are in this country. His comments comes after a Chebi district remanded into prison custody 6 young men alleged to have murdered a teacher at the Isiakwa Salvation Army JHS, Mr. George Kwabena Bosompeng. We'll hear from Nat shortly, but first, here are some teachers who say they're living in fear.
We are very much disappointed in the kind of environment so far as security of our members is concerned across the country, because this is not an isolated case. There have been cases where our teachers have been attacked and brutalized. I started an example of the female teacher who was shot at Adan about 4 years ago. That gentleman is still working in the streets of Adan. So we are going to make an official position known to our employer and to the government of Ghana. When we come on Thursday after the 1 week, we'll know exactly when the funeral is taking place, and we'll give out an official statement on our position on this type of violence that is being afflicted on our members across the country. Tell to them that this is not a time for mass transfer. We don't have to depend on only a few of our disgruntled, indisciplined young people to vent our anger on the whole community. We are saying that, look, we have kids who are prepared to write the exams in the next 1 month. We have not finished what we're supposed to do with them. We should exercise patience. We have had assurances from Assemblyman and from the community and from the police that they will give them a lot of protection.
And you had there the General Secretary of NAT, David Ofori Champon, who is asking the teachers to go back to the classrooms as they try and sort out the issues. We know today the teachers have been protesting in Chebi as part of the solidarity with the mother teacher and their family. We'll try and speak to the GES shortly on this because they've been speaking and assuring that security will be provided to teachers wherever they are in this country. Let's do some sports now. Enhancement Sando is here with the very latest from the world of sports.
Hello, Evans.
What do you have in the sports?
Well, we're talking athletics and Ghana's female 4x100 relay team. They have set their sights on Olympic qualification after securing qualification for this year's athletics championship in Doha. The quartet of Flinks, Owusu Japan, Germa Champon, Persis, William Mensah, and Ho Halutier sealed qualification to the World Championship by finishing 7th at the World Relay in Yokohama over the weekend. An executive member of the Ghana Athletics Association, Dr. Mark Dradosi, has been speaking to Joy Sports, outlining the plans to secure qualification for next year's Olympic Games and the target that has been set for the World Championship as well.
The plan first is to ensure that they keep on training and also keep on competing at the highest level, and also get the necessary support they need to be able to adequately prepare. With sport, you need to adequately prepare, you need to adequately resource the athlete, and that's what we plan to do. For this, they made it to the competition based on the fact that they ran well last year individually and also as a relay team. And this year already they started competing. All of them did compete indoors in the U.S. and then they have started competing outdoor as well. So it's my belief that as we get closer to World Championships, they will also push to qualify in their individual event, because that makes them stronger to compete in the relay. Every nation goes into World Championships hoping to win a medal, and that is what we will also wish that the athletes can go out and perform. However, we do not want to put pressure on them. What we can ensure is that we prepare them well as a nation to go and represent us well. And preparing well means we have to make the necessary available resources, make the necessary resources available to them in terms of money, in terms of getting them into the right competitions, the right high-level competitions, not just competing, but putting them into competitions where they can compete at the high level to also meet the time and also help them develop individually, especially in terms of their events.
An executive member of the Ghana Athletics Association, Dr. Mark Dradosi. Brenda Curtin down on sports on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, Hans. Now, the President Akufo-Addo, is warning he will not countenance laziness and unprofessional attitude from civil servants posted to the six new created regions. The local government service has deployed staff to oversee administration of these regions. President Akufo-Addo, who is touring the Oti region, warns diligence from the staff. Addressing a dab of chiefs and people of Jasikan, the president said government will speed up development projects in the region.
They have a big responsibility. They are coming to be the foundation of a new region. We need extra diligence, extra commitment from them. And I want them to know that my eye is going to be on them to watch out that they do the work properly. Said everybody, it's going to be what was it? Yeah, and said everybody, Mama Sonte.
Well, as you know, Jasikan, one of those areas that is benefiting from the creation of these new regions, and the Omanhene for the area has been speaking in reacting to the creation of the region and the capital.
Use this opportunity to express our most sincere gratitude to you in particular and your government generally for being the political midwife that oversaw the safe and successful delivery of the Oti region. Being the father of the Oti region, I must say that we can never find the appropriate words to convey our joy, appreciation, and gratitude to you for making this half a century-old dream of our people, including the ancestors, come true before our own eyes and lifetime. As it has been made known already to you in our petition for the region and also captured in several records, our demand for a separate region, started long ago. It is a demand that started even before Ghana had its political independence, in particular that we, the people of Buem, Biakuye, Akan, and Sa, among others, should and in fact will forever be grateful to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and your government for demonstrating and much boldness and commitment to principle.
And that's a man of the Jasikan Nana Abraham Akbanja. Well, there's been some protests in the Ashanti region today. The aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Security Fund Management are pressing on government to compel managers of the fund to pay their locked-up investments and with interest. More than 200 aggrieved customers of the Gold Coast Security Fund Management earlier today marched through the streets of the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, to push the management of the company to pay back their monies. The customers who wore red bands amidst chants and heavy security marched through the streets with placards expressing their displeasure with the company. Some of the customers say the company's failure to pay their monies has made life extremely difficult.
that GCFM should pay us all our investment amounting several millions of Ghana cedis and the corresponding accrued interest at the prevailing interest rate in the country on or before 30th May 2019. Mr. President, as your children, we have been facing terrible economic challenges as a result of the inability of GCFM to pay us back our investment since July 2018. As parents, we are unable to fend for the basic needs of our families, and this is making life very unbearable for us as citizens of this great country. Some of us are pensioners and persons with disabilities who have our investment funds locked up with the company. However, all efforts to retrieve our funds to satisfy our basic needs have fallen on deaf ears. The fund management company keeps promising us since July last year, but all their promises to us have not yielded any result. In a recent engagement meeting that we had with the top management of the company held between 12th to 16th of April 2019 at the Golden Tulip Hotel in Kumasi to help find a lasting solution to this impasse has not yielded any reasonable results. A passionate appeal to you to intervene in this matter as a matter of urgency to assist us retrieve our locked up funds from the company.
Well, Dr. Papakwesi Ndum, in a communique on the matter in April, had suggested that the 2 billion CD debt owed by government to the company is partly responsible for the difficulties that the customers are currently experiencing. The aggrieved customers are therefore calling on government to honor the payment so they can also be paid.
The posture of GCFM and Dr. Papakwesi Ndum towards our plight has been extremely provocative, and we are therefore incensed at their attitude towards us. Have been locked up with the company. Government should also set up an independent investigation and audit into the activities of GCFM, since we are picking reliable information that Dr. Papakwesi Ndum has loaned out the bulk of our investment to his private businesses within and outside the country. Dr. Ndum and GCFM, as per the attached document Annex A, claim that he invested bulk of the investment into governmental infrastructure.
And GoCo's management has tonight been indicating to us that they'll be responding to some of the issues raised by the aggrieved workers subsequently in the properly addressed press statement. A few of your messages before we go. This one from Dan Soman says, so Evans, can Ghanaians trust the CID boss or the Ghana Police Service? Are we serious at all? This one, Ben, says this should serve as a deterrent to anyone who's planning on registering any unqualified or invalid persons. And the final one says, so our dear Ghana has now become a country where the level of insecurity has become so unacceptably high under the watch of the IGP and the CID boss. The situation is getting worse, she says. And Anna says, if two will not resign honorably and the president does not see the need to fire them, then we must power pressure for the resignation or termination of the appointments. And that's a reference to the CID boss. And that's it for Newsnight tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Joy 99.7.